Good afternoon, folks. This is Clear Sky Productions here. And, folks, are you watching the news at all? I mean, look at this. You got this big bad Omicron COVID variant thingy going around, making the news, all that good stuff. Fauci having a field day, all that. Meanwhile, gas prices could fall below $3. Absolutely just incredible. It's like Christmas, just amazing. So you got all this new stuff going on just everywhere. And so because of that, people are already speculating on who's going to run in 2024, and depending on who runs, who's going to win. It's just a very interesting time. People already talking about 2024, even though it's only November of 2021 right now. We're just 1 year in. We're 3 years away from this. We haven't even gotten to the midterms yet, and yet people are still wondering who's going to be elected the president, or re-elected, depending on the results. Who will be elected/re-elected president of the United States in 2024? And that's why I thought, why not go ahead and do my way too early electoral map predictions? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the Clear Sky Productions way too early 2024 electoral map predictions video. Now, of course, let me just cover who I think is going to run in 2024, since it's anyone's guess really at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be a Trump versus Biden rematch. Biden, the incumbent, I think he will run for a second term. And I do think Trump is going to relaunch a campaign to get back in 2024 as well. So that's what we're going to go with right now. Trump versus Biden 2.0. So under that scenario, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so kind of like with my last predictions video, I'm going to start with the easier states and work my way towards the harder ones. So I'm going to start with the easiest state, in my opinion, which there's quite a few easy ones, but I'm going to start with the easiest one. And that is Wyoming. Wyoming, pretty straightforward. Gonna go blue. Just no way. I'm just kidding. It's gonna go red. There's just no way that Wyoming goes blue. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, Wyoming's been a red state for a long time. It went red in 2020. And Biden's approval rating in Wyoming, which I get it, it's 2021. It could be 95% for all we know in 2024. Okay, but I mean, it's not going to be. But yeah, no way Wyoming goes blue. It's just not going to happen. It's red. It's guaranteed to be red. It's going to happen. Yeah, it's going red. It's red. I mean, what more can I say? It's red. It's red, okay? It's red. It's red. Idaho will go red. Montana will go red. Utah is also going to go red. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do Colorado, New Mexico. I think New Mexico will go blue. Colorado will also go blue. And let's go ahead and take out the West Coast here real quick. Washington and Oregon will go blue. Now, California, for a while now, we've had a pretty loud conservative movement going on in California, trying to turn the state red, all that stuff. I do think California is going to stay blue in 2024. I mean, honestly, I think California's best shot at going red in anything was the Gavin Newsom recall we had earlier this year. That didn't happen. And yeah, that was California's best shot at voting anything red, and it just didn't happen. And something else that a lot of people forget about California is you have people in California, conservatives, leaving the state. They're moving to places like Texas and to a lesser extent Arizona and Florida. So you have people leaving the state, right? So that's going to make the population less conservative, if that makes sense, or more Democrat. So I think that actually gives California specifically a better shot at turning blue. And that's one reason, among others, why I think California will be blue for a while. Now, I'm not saying California will never go red ever again, but I do think that at this stage in history, California is just a solid state for the Democrats. We have had, and people will say this too, well, California's gone red before, which is true. It has gone red before. Go back and look at the old electoral maps. It went red for Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. But at this stage in history, yeah, California is just, it's blue. And it's going to be blue for a while. It might go red again in the future, but it'll be a while before that happens. Okay, so we're at 89 for Biden, 17 for Trump. Although, these are all like West Coast states. You know that I don't do this the same way the mainstream media does. They do it like East Coast first because of like the time zone thing. They do it chronologically. I said it was going to be easy states first. So it says 89 to 17, but on election night you're not going to see Fox or CNN with this map. Okay, all the West states lit up. And nothing over here, but yeah. So it's 89 for Biden, 17 for Trump. Let's go and cover some red states real quickly here. North Dakota red, South Dakota red, Nebraska will also go red. I have Nebraska going solid red. So Nebraska, they're one of two states. Maine is the other one that splits up their votes. Biden got one blue vote in 2020. I think Trump's going to flip Nebraska all the way back red. I would kind of think that any of the Democrats in Nebraska that voted Biden, I don't think they're going to vote for him again. I just don't. The ones who, didn't like Trump, they thought, well, Trump wasn't that great. I'll vote Biden. Maybe he'll be better. No, I think they're going to go back to Trump in 2024. Kansas will also go red. Oklahoma definitely will go red. No doubt about that. Oklahoma's another really easy state. All 77 counties for the past 4 or 5 elections now have all gone red. So, yeah, Oklahoma's a lock to go red. Let's see here. Let's do a few more easy states here. Arkansas red, Missouri red. I think Illinois will go blue. Pretty similar to California. Hang on, my phone's going off, I think. Nope. Sorry. False alarm. So anyway, with Illinois, it's kind of like California, where, I mean, there's just not a lot of people in rural Illinois. Now, the people who do live in rural Illinois do tend to vote conservative, but rural Illinois is really empty in particular. And then, of course, you have Chicago, which is also one of the most liberal cities on the planet, really. Not just in the U.S., but on the planet. So between there being hardly any people in rural Illinois, period, and Chicago being as liberal and populated as it is, yeah, Illinois is a solid blue state, I would say. Kentucky, easy red. Tennessee, red. Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, all red. And Indiana will also go red as well. So now it's pretty neck and neck. We have 108 for Biden, 110 for Trump. Oh, let's cover the non-continental 48 states real quick. So Alaska will go red. Hawaii will go blue. Both pretty easy. So now Trump's ahead by 1 vote, even though I'm not counting this the same way, but whatever. West Virginia, oops. I'll get back to Ohio later. But West Virginia is red for sure. South Carolina is red for sure. Okay, let's see here. Let's do some New England states here. So New York, blue. That's an easy one. Vermont, I think, will go blue. Massachusetts, blue. Connecticut and Rhode Island, blue. New Jersey is going to be kind of interesting in that. So we just had the governor's race recently, and it almost went red. It just barely went blue for Phil Murphy. So that's going to have a lot of people speculating, hey, New Jersey might be a battleground state in 2024. And it could be. Ultimately, I do think New Jersey will go blue also. And part of the reason for that, now keep in mind, the people of New Jersey are not voting for Phil Murphy over whatever that Republican guy's name is. This is Biden and Trump. So, yes, it almost went red that time, but this is going to be a slightly different election. I think in a Trump-Biden scenario 2.0, I still think New Jersey will go blue in that case. Let's see here. Delaware, blue. That's an easy one. I can do it down here. Maryland will go blue, and then D.C. is really easy as well, blue. So now we're at 195 for Biden, 126 for Trump. Okay, so I think that covers all the easy states. Let me just make sure here. Let's see. Texas, Wisconsin. Okay, yeah, that covers kind of the easier states. I'm going to do these two states here real quick. And then after that, we'll kind of get into the battleground state. Oh, and Minnesota, I guess. Minnesota, I'll do that one just real quickly. Minnesota, I think, will go blue as well. Minnesota was razor tight in 2016. Trump came really close to winning Minnesota in 2016. It just barely went blue. And I think that'll be the same thing here. I think Minnesota will be a close race, but ultimately will go blue. Now, getting back to New England here. Now, okay, let's do Maine here real quickly. So I think Maine will be mostly blue. I'll give Trump 1 vote in Maine. So mostly blue, but I think, you know, Trump will get something out of Maine. Won't be solid blue. That's how I feel about that. Now, New Hampshire. You're probably wondering why I haven't done New Hampshire yet, because I'm actually going a little bold on New Hampshire, and I'm going to say they're going to go red. That's a bold one, but I think Trump can get it done in New Hampshire. Now, if Trump does win New Hampshire, I don't think it's going to be like a landslide in New Hampshire, obviously, but just barely, I think he'll pull New Hampshire out and win it. New Hampshire's another state he almost won in 2016. Like Minnesota, just barely went blue. But I think Trump is going to prevail in New Hampshire. We'll see about that one, though. Okay, so that pretty much leaves the battleground states. Let me see here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any easy ones. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. So, 208 Biden, 131 Trump. This is where things start to get interesting. Okay, I'm going to start here with the states remaining. Okay, let's go to Texas. Now, Texas, I think Texas is going to stay... What do I think Texas is going to... What do I think Texas is going to do? Any guesses? Any guesses? Okay, I'm done. It's going to go red. I think Texas will stay red. I did that whole thing because I actually clicked it twice and made it go blue. So I just... Why not? But, okay, Texas, it's going to stay red. So there's a lot of speculation in Texas, a lot of anticipation for Democrats to eventually turn the state blue. I know they're really trying to turn Texas blue, just like Republicans have really been vying to turn California red. And for the same reason why I don't think Republicans are going to succeed in California, I just don't think Democrats are going to succeed in Texas. California and Texas are like mirror images of each other. Now in Texas, I think I mentioned this earlier in this video. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not. If I didn't, I'll just go ahead and say it anyway. So I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I'm pretty familiar with the demographics around here. And let me tell you, for a metropolitan area as large as DFW is, and believe me, it's gotten enormous in the last few years, or I'd say like the last 18 months to 2 years, we have had a bunch of people move into the area. And even so, I mean, DFW, for an area as large as it is surprisingly conservative. And generally in the elections, if you look at Texas county by county, like up in the Dallas area, most Dallas area counties go red except for Dallas County. And even Dallas County doesn't go like solid red, not like Travis County where Austin is. That's like hardcore blue. But Dallas County is like, okay, if you look at the county maps where it's like different shades of red and blue, you'll notice Dallas County usually has a lighter shade of blue. And then Tarrant County usually votes red. It went blue in 2020, but I think Trump will flip Tarrant County back red. I'm trying to stay away from the whole county thing for this map. I'm just trying to go off of states. But if you want my opinion on Tarrant County, where Fort Worth is, I think Trump's going to win Tarrant County again. I don't see Biden winning that again. And of course, Dallas County, they usually go blue. I think they'll go blue again. Anyway, so that in mind, so Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, all those big cities... I mean, yes, they're on the liberal side, but they're really not hardcore liberal, especially for as big as they are. Now, if every big city in Texas were as liberal as Austin, I think Texas would at least have a shot at going red. Or, I'm sorry, they would at least have a shot at going blue if every city were that liberal, but that's not the case. And there are, unlike Illinois, there's a lot of people out in rural Texas. It's more populated than people think. So... they're not as crowded together, mind you, but there are plenty of people out in rural Texas who do vote, and I think are largely responsible for turning the state red. So yeah, I do think Texas will be red for the foreseeable future. I just don't see... And likewise, I'm not saying Texas will never ever go blue, but I think for right now, it's in the Republicans' favor, just like California is in the Democrats' favor. All right, so that takes care of that. Let's go to Ohio. Ohio is going to go red. This is actually a pretty easy one for the battleground states. So Ohio is not nearly as purple as it used to be. This state's definitely headed in the Republicans' direction. Trump won Ohio in 2020 by about the same margin as he did in 2016, which, because, there were some people who were speculating, Biden might win Ohio, and, Ohio might have just been a fluke in 2016. It was not a fluke. It went red again by the same margin. So that pretty much all but confirms that Ohio is definitely headed in the Republican direction. Same thing in Iowa. Iowa will also go red. It's been a toss-up state for the past couple of elections. It went blue for Obama in 2008 and 12, but for Trump it went red in 2016 and 20, which, like Ohio, also shows that Iowa is also headed in the Republican direction. It was a purple state, but yeah, it's safe to say Iowa it's a red territory now. And you know what else is a red territory? Florida. Florida will also definitely go red. Trump won Florida by an even larger margin than he won in 2016. In 2016, Florida came down to the wire. He actually won Florida pretty well in 2020. He did really good in Florida, which the fact that he won by an even bigger margin, Iowa and Ohio were about the same. Florida was an even bigger margin, so that definitely shows Florida was no fluke in 2016. Florida is absolutely becoming a Republican state. Was a battleground state, it's going in the Republican direction, for sure. So yeah, Iowa, Ohio, and Florida are the three states trending in that Republican direction without a doubt. Now, let's go ahead and cover Arizona. So Arizona went blue in 2020, and I will admit, Arizona is a more purple state than some people realize. This could be a close one. I'm going to say Arizona is going to flip back red, because Biden's approval rating in Arizona is not that great at all. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I just think Arizona was probably a fluke for Biden. I mean, we'll see. Maybe it wasn't, but I think Trump is going to flip Arizona back red. And then let's go ahead and take out Nevada, too. Nevada, this one was a toss-up in 2020, kind of in 2016, too, I guess. I think it was closer in 2020 than it was in 2016. I can't remember, but I'm going to say Nevada will go blue. This one is going to be, I think, a razor-tight state, but it will go blue, I think. Okay, North Carolina. I think they're going to go red. I know it was really close in 2020, and even though it was much closer in 2020 than 2016, which 2016 was pretty close as well, but yeah, it was even more close in 2020, but I do think Trump is going to carry North Carolina. I just don't see North Carolina headed in the Biden direction of things. Now, Georgia. Georgia's going to be a really interesting state to watch. Real quickly, let me just recap here. 214 for Biden, 251 for Trump. Georgia is going to be a very interesting state, in my opinion. Now, when Biden won Georgia in 2020, I thought to myself, okay, how is that? How in the world did Biden win Georgia? I think what really drove Georgia blue was the Atlanta area, which is, it's becoming a much larger area. It's becoming a more Democrat area, I believe. Just like with Iowa, Ohio, and Florida, how they're all headed in the Republican direction, it is very possible that Georgia is slowly but steadily becoming Democrat territory. And of course, it's because of Atlanta. I think rural Georgia is still going to be pretty conservative, but Atlanta could very easily turn Georgia blue. Again, like with Chicago in the state of Illinois. I mean, I think, okay, no matter who wins Georgia, it's going to be very, very close. This is not going to be a blowout state no matter which way it goes. Ultimately, and this is a close one, I'm going to say Georgia will go red. But I don't know. This one, if Georgia does go blue in 2024, I'm not going to be totally shocked. Certainly not as shocked as I was in 2020, but I can kind of understand why it would go blue if it does go blue again. But yeah, this one's very close. I'm just barely going to say it goes red. Not by much, though. I mean, again, it's going to be close. So now look at this. Trump is now 3 votes away from regaining the presidency, but it's not over yet. Let's go up to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, pretty close state, but I think it's going to lean blue. That one is going to go for Biden. Pennsylvania is another one I think will go for Biden. It goes blue. So that leaves Virginia and Michigan. Now Virginia, we just had that governor's race as well, and they voted for Glenn Youngkin, who did absolutely superior over Trump in 2020. I mean, Virginia was a hardcore blue state in 2020. Biden won by like 10 points, and even in the Virginia suburbs, which would normally go red, Biden won those counties as well. Yeah, Virginia was far blue. But then we had Glenn Youngkin become governor, the Republican, and not just Glenn Youngkin, but every election race, the lieutenant governor, and there's a Senate seat, I think, that was up for grabs. Every election in Virginia that night went red. Virginia is now basically entirely controlled by Republicans. And I know that's going to leave a lot of people wondering, can Biden win Virginia still after Virginia did what they did, after that red wave in Virginia? So this is going to be another very interesting state. Just barely, I have Virginia going blue. Oops. No, I don't have West Virginia going blue. I have Virginia going blue, though. I'm just not sure that Trump is going to be able to appeal to the voters in Virginia as much as Glenn Youngkin was. Because, I mean, yes, Glenn Youngkin is a Trump supporter, and Trump did endorse Glenn Youngkin. That's true, but Glenn Youngkin, he ran a campaign that I think was very different from Trump. You know, Youngkin didn't rely nearly as much on some of the tactics, though. Because, I mean, Trump, he has some pretty aggressive tactics, we can all admit. Whether you like him, you hate him, you just don't know, you're in between, which is not too many people. But no matter what you think of Trump, we all agree he runs a pretty aggressive campaign style, which most politicians don't, and Youngkin's a good example. He supports a lot of the policies of Trump, but does not have that same outward, mean tweets. Think of it like that. No mean tweets from Glenn Youngkin. So if Trump weren't that kind of guy, I could see him winning Virginia, but as it stands, I'm going to say Virginia will go blue. So we have one state to go, and that's Michigan. We're at 256 for Biden, 267 for Trump. And I don't know, guys. This is another razor-tight state, but you know what? Just barely, mind you, I do think Michigan is going to put Donald J. Trump back in the White House. And so there you have it, folks. Those are my 2024 way too early electoral map predictions. Go ahead and screenshot this and email it to me when it's inevitably, completely and totally wrong. Watch every red state be blue and every blue state be red. Which won't happen because California, I don't think it's going to go red, nor I think Texas. The point is, okay, when this is completely and totally wrong, go ahead, spam me all you want to, because honestly, I will deserve it. But as it stands, there it is. I do think Trump will beat Biden in the 2024 election, and I think this is how it's going to go down. This is Clear Sky Productions. Thank you as always for watching, and for those of you who disagree with this map, which is everybody pretty much, go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what you think you would do differently. Or go ahead and post your own electoral too early predictions as well, because why not? I mean, if everybody does it, is it really too early? Because maybe it won't be. I don't know. But that's all for now. I'll see you next time, and until next time, this is Clear Sky Productions, signing off. Good night, folks.